Okay, we're welcome to chapter 1, why the Jim Straw testing research method guaranteed that iTunes, Steve Jobs, was a safe, no selling required added value investment for Apple. All right, so Apple is now the #1 most profitable company in the world based on Steve liked to pretend that he just showed up and he knew what people wanted. Well, there's a lot of testing going on. So what we're going to do is talk about how to apply this in your small business or your home business or at work in your job. And you're thinking, how's that possible? Okay, so number 1, let's talk about how iTunes was tested without any of us knowing about it before it was launched. All right, so number 1, Steve Jobs already knew that billions of downloads of music were being stolen, off the internet. There's a huge history of that. So he knew that if he could get the price down cheap enough, he could make it more convenient and easy for people and fast. Speed, ease, make it easy, convenient. So Steve Jobs simply made it easier and very inexpensive to get hundreds or thousands of your favorite tunes logged up and synced on one of their devices. So they make the money on selling the music and creating the hardware and the software, which is kind of cool. All right, so I saw an interview of Richard Branson where he was talking about the fact that within, he said, 6 months or a year of iTunes launching, they bankrupted his entire worldwide empire of Virgin record stores. Less than a year. All right, so we've got one billionaire preempting a whole business niche from another. So the summary of this is that proof that Steve Jobs used the Jim Straw secret to safely test is that he saw all those niches. In fact, if you go back to YouTube and watch his presentation for the iPhone, he talks about, video and audio and books and music and niche after niche after niche, and he only wanted 10%. He said, if we get 10%, we'll be successful. He wasn't going to try to take over the whole world, but that 10%, created magic for him. All right, now how do we apply this in our own small business life? All right, now this comes right out of YouTube. The company is called Blend Tech. This guy, I'm not going to show you the whole video, you can go yourself. Search for iPhone will it blend, all right? So this is the 3G. Now if you look down the bottom, you'll notice it's got 6 million hits. All right, I did some research on the company. I even wrote a few newsletters about it in my free e-zine, and we discovered that this series of goofy videos on YouTube have added about $50 million to the company's bottom line. All right, so my point is, let's think, what business could you possibly be in where you could get a blender? You don't necessarily have to get one of their blenders, but I would recommend it. If you're gonna grind up a bunch of stuff, you want something that's tough. So they're not gonna mind me giving them free advertising to sell more blenders. Suppose you sell insurance. You could sell an insurance policy and grind it up and send it, say, here's our competitor's insurance versus ours, and yours is bulletproof or something. You could, beer, had a guy who had to do a speech for his public speaking class, and I was trying to get him to pretend to grind up the teacher's phone or something, but he wimped out on me. So I did an interview with a guy who owns a cheese and sausage store. This would be cool. You pile it full of cheese and sausage, boy, you'd have a mess. Take the top off, throw it all over the place. Anything, perfume, beer, books,